not BS strips. Oh, do you care? It's not BS strips. Oh, do you care?
Chris and George are the guys behind a very funny comic book that's sometimes offensive. It's called The Bear Stories. George, what is The Bear Stories all about?
Well, it's a very interesting question because originally our intention was to create a very dramatic, serious piece about a man who was born with a physical deformity that makes him look a little bit like a cartoon bear. So, of course, life is very difficult for him, but a lot of people, for some reason, found it very funny. So we're kind of going with that now. So basically, it's about a character who looks a lot like a cartoon bear who's trying to survive in a very real city.
The comic has a very unusual style in that the characters, the human characters, look one way, and then the bear has a totally cartoony, kind of absurd look to him.
Maybe because I drew the bear, and then he drew everything else. So I have the easy job, I guess you could say. I just drew the face as simple as I could, and it stays the same. The expression never changes. Let's throw him into the real world and see how it looks.
George, the bear kind of seems like a jerk, and he gets into all these crazy situations. So what are some things we see him get into in these books?
He gets into a lot of crazy situations, actually. You'd almost call him an activist. He stands for his rights. You know, he's at a hot dog stand. He thinks the hot dogs are overpriced, so he puts a big fuss up about it, and then he gets into a lot of trouble there. He also ends up in a strip joint and also a porn shop, so it's some interesting content, and he causes a lot of trouble in both those places. So you'd have to check out the book to find out.
One of the things you first see when you open up the book or go to the website is a question like, are you easily offended? Why did you choose to make the book so offensive to people who are easily offended?
Are you easily offended?
It was one of the catchphrases that we had while at conventions, because people would come by the table, flip to a page, see a cartoon bear, it's swearing, and then they're like, oh my god, what is this? So we had to have a disclaimer when people came to the table saying, are you easily offended? Well, if you're not, then have a look at our books.
To be honest, we just do what we think's funny. And then, of course, we realize that some of it could be a little offensive to some people. So that's why we have the disclaimer. Our intention isn't necessarily to offend, it's to make people laugh.
All right, The Bear Stories. If you're easily offended, you might want to stay away. But if you're not and you enjoy a good laugh or two, sometimes, you know, a little bit of nudity, then The Bear Stories is for you.
We want to present you and the Electric Playground with an official Bear Stories plushie.
Thank you very much. I've never had my own little bear plushie of a bear that's very rude and swears a lot, so thanks.